Because if TikTok's really about to be banned this time, I'm going to start saying how I really fucking feel. I might lose followers for what I'm about to say, but I want y'all to listen close, because I'm going to say this shit with my whole fucking chest this time. Y'all ready? The United States government, who historically can't agree on a fucking thing, agreed on banning an app before they ever did a single fucking thing to help stop your kids from getting killed in their fucking classrooms. And I'm going to double down on that shit. Y'all thought I was done? Fuck nah. If as many CEOs got shot and killed in this country as kids who get shot and killed in their fucking schools, then the government might actually fucking do something about it. Let that one fucking marinate. National fucking security risk? Yeah, fucking right.
Hey mom, the world's kinda fucked up, and I really didn't think that I'd be sad this much, but I guess being happy is just easier said than done. Well, hey mom.
Listen, I'm from England, so I don't know diddly squat about the gun laws in America. What I do know is what we get to see, which is probably half of it. There's so many kids dying in America every year because of guns. In 2025, I cannot believe it's still happening. So there needs to be stricter laws. There shouldn't be semi-automatic guns in households nowhere across the board. But I get it. The real criminals that you want to be looking out for is the ones that want to take them off you, which is the government. So I get it. Just need to pick and choose which kind of guns need to be out there. That's what it needs to be. That being said, the TikTok ban is horrendous for us. America puts out, they're made for TV. Americans are made for TV. So we get all our content from there, or most of it, without skipping a beat. They can't do nothing to China, and now they've jumped onto a Chinese app, which we'll all be on eventually, because we'll all leave this. So we can have our American counterparts see their content. It's not going to end good for TikTok. They shouldn't have sold the souls to the powers that be. Cut your nose off to spite your face. Anyway, let's move on to today's episode. You're going to want to stick around to the end. There's an amazing clip of 2025 predictions. Stick around.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. You know what time it is. Y'all still feeding this stuff to y'all's kids? Tell me how McDonald's serves 7 million burgers a day. That's 2.5 billion burgers a year. Let's do the math here. If there's only 1 billion cows in the world and 300 million of those are in India where they have laws where you can't kill them, they don't eat them, you know? I'm trying to do the math and the math just ain't mathing here. Where are they getting the cows from? Where are they getting their meat from? Something just don't make sense to me. I don't know. I know what does make sense though, the math. And if the math ain't mathin', we ain't eating it.
Add the 6, take the 1, carry the 3. What was he on about? Nah, he's got a point. Goodwill Hunting over here. He had a point of, where's all this chicken come from? I know there's chicken farms and you raise so many chickens, but is that enough? See how many chickens get sold every hour of every day, and so on and so on. Never ends. Dare I say, there's human meat inside them McDonald's burgers. I've heard it. I'm not making it up. I've heard this before. There's human meat inside the McDonald's burgers. Probably anything. They probably think, we're low this week on chicken. Grab a rover from next door, do you know what I mean? And chuck that dog in. There's one thing I do know about this. Not one of us will do a thing. We'll all be back at Mackey's next week, tomorrow. Brekkies, chicken burgers, 20 nuggets please. Don't care what it is. 8 human fingers, 6 sheep, next door's dog. I don't care, we're all going to be eating it. So, let's just shut up whining it until we can do something about it, or until we actually stand up and not go and protest. But is that ever going to happen?
There's this guy on TikTok. His name's Drew the Prophet. He's going viral right now, and a lot of people are talking about him.
4 months ago, God told me that a tsunami coming to California and destroying the coast of California. Y'all ever heard of the San Andreas Fault?
Yeah.
It's finna get ready to happen, brother. I came from Atlanta, Georgia, bro. I don't know nobody in California.
He left his home in Atlanta, decided to go to California because he had a dream. What he claims is that God came to him in a dream and told him that he has to warn all of California because there's going to be a natural disaster that's pretty much a tsunami will take out all of California.
Word.
And he's not too far off because there is a lot of studies saying there's something going on with the fault lines.
Yeah.
It is something that could happen. This is the West Coast.
Okay.
Do you see the water? That's what
blue.
he's claiming is going to happen.
Oh, so it's gonna just
To the
flood it
USA.
out.
Yeah. Now check this out. Check this out. This is all of California, fam. This is moving into like almost Texas over
Yeah,
there, right?
yeah.
Check this out though. What's over here? Why are those still up?
Is that Hollywood?
Hack this.
No.
Why do all the celebrities live in the hill? Why do they all live in the mountain? Why do they all live like way up there, bro?
I totally forgot about this guy. He reminds me of Woody Harrelson 2012, is it? In Yellowstone, where he's trying to warn everybody. That being said, people do get these epiphanies and premonitions and stuff, so they should have took him serious, really. Half of them were probably in on it anyway. So that's where they disregard you, and everyone's like, yeah, look at this crazy guy here. Why would he come all the way from Atlanta if he didn't know anyone in California to tell you? He tried to warn you. I know it's not a tsunami. There's still time. Hopefully, touch wood, it doesn't happen, but there's still time. We're going to look at a clip now and wonder what's going on. It's a bit shady, so let's get into it.
I'm about to tell you a really big secret that the government doesn't want you to know about the Jade Helm military exercise, the Yellowstone volcano, its potential to erupt, and why so much military is being deployed to a city near you. Rumor has it that the Jade Helm exercise was actually a cover for the military to get all of its equipment out of the Ashfall area. There was two major regions of the Jade Helm exercise, this one and the rest of the country. This is where all the military equipment was moved to. You'd think that's counterintuitive because Yellowstone is right next door upstairs, but you're not taking into account easterly winds. You see, the safest place to be in America when the Yellowstone volcano erupts is right here. Because beyond the initial blast, being under the volcano as the easterly wind pushes the ash cloud across to the east coast is going to be the safest place for you to be. And the safest place for all the military vehicles to be so that the ash doesn't get inside the engine and gunk everything up so it's inoperable. This map here shows the initial ash fall of Yellowstone. It is in the same exact spot where the Jade Helm exercise was. But understand this is only the initial ash fall from the eruption. Once that ash gets carried into the wind, it's going to cover the East Coast and go around the world before it revisits California, Nevada, Utah, etc. So why is this important to know, and how does it connect to all this military deployment happening right now? You may be aware of all the increased seismic activity, solar activity, and weakening of the Earth's magnetic field right now. Well, that's only the tip of the iceberg, because the USGS, along with other military organizations and the government, knows something much bigger. That is, they have an approximation of when the Yellowstone volcano is going to erupt, and they relate it to the solar activity and Earth activity. And they know that it's coming soon. I imagine that Schumann resonance thing was not an anomaly. So why are they putting military in a bunch of major cities? Because Russia and China are going to invade us immediately when we're at our weakest. By the way, this is in biblical prophecy. The abomination of desolation, my friends. When the Yellowstone volcano erupts, it's going to weaken us severely. This is going to be the best time, the most opportune moment for Russia and China to invade. So American military is preparing for that moment. That's why you're seeing planes everywhere. That's why they're deploying to major cities. It's not martial law. This is survival. And this is the stuff they really don't want you to know. Let me just give you some examples. This is what happens when you search Jade Helm military exercise, Yellowstone volcano eruption. That's your first search result. Looks like we don't have anything for you. Here's what you get when you use another search browser. Hysteria over Jade Helm exercises in Texas was fueled by Russians. Of course it was. Jade Helm 15 conspiracy theories. Fact checked. Is Jade Helm 15 a program to create martial law? Get your bug out bags. Get your emergency preparedness plan. Get your gas masks. Be prepared.
To play their game, you just watch what they're doing. In business, follow the money. Everything, just follow the money. Or watch what they're doing. Where's the military going? Where are all the police being sent to? What's going on? If you see it all going on, just look over there. Forget the distractions. Look over there. They know something's coming that they're clearly not telling us about, so they clearly don't care about us. They clearly don't care about no one. But obviously Americans, stop being so patriotic for these people. Left, right, red, blue, MAGA this, MAGA that. Everyone's against each other. And that's what they want. When someone tells you something, take it on board, don't class them as crazy, think about it, take their advice and actually run with it. Don't just disregard them through the profit. Yeah, he might not be bang on the money, and he might just be lying. Do you know what I mean? But there's people out there that do say things and they get disregarded, or the conspiracy theorists, or the paranoid, or it doesn't matter. What does it affect us until it does? So all I'm saying is to be a bit mindful and listen to this. Take it on board.
And physical health first before we embark upon what is going to be a journey to rebuild these communities back and rebuild them better than they were when we started this fire.
Awkward.
The following compelling Sasquatch video was recorded in Spain. A group of friends were out at a ski resort in the mountains. The weather had been particularly snowy for the last few days, and this day here followed the same pattern. But during the blizzard this time, one of the friends spotted something strange despite the low visibility. He pulled out his phone and recorded this quick clip. The creature is massive and it's covered in snow-white fur. It seems to be walking very slowly, trying to blend in. It's bipedal and it has a human-like gait. Even though the clip is rather short, we still get a pretty good look at the supposed creature. The witnesses were definitely shocked at what they were seeing, but this wasn't the only time they would see it. Later on in their trip, after the weather cleared, they spotted it again, traversing the snowy mountainous terrain. This gives us a much more clear shot. Now we can really see its massive size. Its body is super thick and muscular, and its hands are excessively large. It has the classic round head and strong, broad shoulders. Because of its defined muscle structure and its insane height, estimated at 8 feet, experts refrain from believing this was a costume. After having these encounters, they reported them to the ski resort. An investigation would be launched, however, nothing was ever found of this mysterious creature. As you may have guessed, people are calling this one a Yeti, a close relative of the Bigfoot or Sasquatch.
The elusive white Bigfoot. Never gets a mention, it's a very rare you'll see him. So what do you guys think? Please let me know in the comments, because Spain? Did he say Spain? Bit random, innit? So I don't know. North America be more keen on it, but I'm always impressed. I'm always intrigued, when I see a white Sasquatch come up, white Bigfoot. Just wanted to put that one in there.
Woody Harrelson had that monologue on SNL.
So the movie goes like this. The biggest drug cartels in the world get together and buy up all the media and all the politicians and force all the people in the world to stay locked in their homes, and people can only come out if they take the cartel's drugs and keep taking them over and over. I threw the script away. I mean, who is gonna believe that crazy idea?
Right after it, the next day, there's all these hit pieces calling him an anti-vaxxer and a stoner when he makes that joke and he talks about them buying all the media, and then all the media responds as if they've been bought and paid for. That's pretty wild.
Well, we know who wasn't at a Diddy party then.
This mysterious footage surfaced on social media. At first, it appears that a section of tree falls on its own. But on closer inspection, there seems to be some form of transparent creature camouflaged in the tree, shaking it off. It's like a real-life predator.
This one's for the Bigfoot deniers. How are we going to explain this one away? Bring AI, CGI, Bigfoot, maybe.
So we've got 130-foot building, which is supposedly a church, and it's been grounded with heavy-duty grounding cable to stop the antennas that are at the top from transferring energy down to the bottom where the plug socket is. Plug socket is. Yeah. What do you know about Tartaria? Another plug PowerPoint right there. See that? We've been lied to. 1692. And this place had power. And they need to ground it on both sides to stop the antennas from taking energy from the ether, which is above, and transferring it to ground level.
Can anyone explain this? Because it definitely looks like what it says on the tin. Ether station plug socket to me. Tartaria, mud floods, hidden history, all suppressed. I don't know.
A girl named Evelyn emailed me and she told me she has the gift of prophecy and what she thinks is going to happen in 2025. She said she's never wrong, and she also shared the story time of how this all started. So Evelyn is obviously not her real name. She said she doesn't want to be looked at as crazy by anyone who actually knows her. You can skip to this part in the video if you just want to know what she thinks is going to happen this year, but if you're interested in the background in her story time, this is it. Evelyn grew up in Ohio, okay, Southern Baptist community where religion was woven into the fabric of everyday life. The church was literally her family's life. Both of her parents were heavily involved in the church, and every single weekend Evelyn was doing some church-related activity. Evelyn actually really liked growing up in a religious community. She said she was absolutely mesmerized as a child about the lectures and the sermons of sin and salvation. She said she believed wholeheartedly back then that God's love was unconditional, but that his wrath was also very real and inescapable for the unrepentant. She took her faith seriously, but it also terrified her. She couldn't escape the feeling that she was always being judged by God, her parents, and her church community. She tried to be a good member of the church, but by the age of 12, she began to notice something different about herself. While other girls in her youth group gushed over boys and the men they would eventually marry, Evelyn felt a pull toward the girls, something that she couldn't explain. It was something more than friendship, and she knew that according to her church, this was wrong. She said when these feelings started, she prayed to God every single night to take away these feelings that she hadn't even acted on. She was a good girl in her parents' eyes, someone who memorized scripture, and she felt trapped by their expectations, and if they found out, they would see her as a failure or worse, a sinner beyond redemption. When she went off to college, she still clung to her faith, but she didn't feel as connected as she did before. She didn't really know what to do without the structure of her community. She began to wonder if God would still accept her and love her if she embraced the part of herself that she had denied for so long. When she finally came out to herself and her parents, she was surprised that they actually accepted her with open arms. She said although her parents didn't quite understand what she was going through, they never made her question whether or not they still loved her. They were completely accepting, and she feels really fortunate to have parents like that. But when she came out, she expected this guilt that she felt to vanish overnight. It didn't. Instead, she had this burden that she carried and she didn't quite know why. Her parents made it clear that she could talk to them about anything, so she did, and she told them that she had this sense of guilt that she could not shake. They said to pray about it, and they also asked her if she wanted to get with a therapist, and she said yes. The therapist suggests that she starts journaling to unlock these feelings and maybe process them. After a while she's doing this, she feels a little bit better, but then the therapist suggests she tries automatic writing, which she described to me as basically you put pen to paper, you don't really think about it, and you just write whatever comes out. She said when she first started doing this, it was just nonsensical scribbles and words and phrases, but then a pattern began to emerge and her first prophecy came. One night in February, she is practicing automatic writing when all of a sudden her pen writes, "Beware of the black ice on the way to the market, your tires will fail, take another road." And she looks at it and she's like, what is this? She was confused but intrigued, and she just brushed it off as like a creative thing from her subconscious. The next morning, she was on her way to the farmer's market with one of her friends. They were taking their usual route when all of a sudden she remembered what she wrote in her journal, and she's like, you know what? I'm just going to go with it. So she takes a different way. She said it took like 5 minutes longer, so it wasn't really a big deal. But later that night, she saw on the local news there was a massive pileup caused by black ice on her original route. There were 5 vehicles involved and 1 fatality. When she saw this, she just turned off the TV. A couple weeks later, it happened again. She was practicing automatic writing one night, and a cryptic phase popped up on the paper and warned her of a date. It said, "The chicken will burn, the air will choke you, stay home." She says she was supposed to go out to dinner that night with a girl that she had met on a dating app, but after seeing this thing pop up on her page and remembering what happened with the black ice incident, she cancels the date. She later learned that there was a gas leak at the restaurant that night that caused a small explosion. Luckily, nobody was harmed, but it still spooked her. Another time, she's warned about helping an elderly neighbor. It says, "The old man will fall by the oak tree and no one will hear him." Acting on the message, she checks on one of her elderly neighbors and sees that sure enough, he has fallen in his yard. His cries for help were barely audible. Now, a large part of Evelyn's email concerned one of her ex-relationships. She told me that basically her prophecies, her automatic writing warned her about the activities, some of which were illegal, that her ex was involved in. She said there was no way that she could have known about these activities had her automatic writing not prompted her to check them out. I'm going to post the longer version of this story on my IT channel because the details of that little side story are too crazy for TikTok and too long. But these were Evelyn's predictions for 2025 according to her automatic writing, okay? She said one of the reasons that she sent me these prophecies was to see what everybody thinks they mean because they haven't happened yet and she doesn't know. So the first is, a great rift will form, not of seas but of people. 2 halves will sever. The second is, a cure will come but the price will be high. What's healed will leave scars. The third she thinks is specific to her, but she's not sure. It said, the one who wears a silver ring will turn against you when the hour grows late. The fourth, this one's creepy. Web will unravel and silence will fall. The lights of the world will flicker, leaving us in the dark. The next is, a child born in the shadow will sing a song that changes everything. He will be the first of his kind. And the last one, she said her subconscious seems to bring up a lot. Beneath the earth, something ancient stirs. It will rise with no name, and its call will be heard only by those who dream. Yeah, if you have any thoughts on what any of this means, Evelyn said she's curious to hear your thoughts because none of this ever makes sense to her until something happens. Evelyn will be seeing the comments to let her know if you have any thoughts. Everybody else, keep sending me your spooky, scary stories. The submission link is in my bio.
That was the last clip, and I'd like to thank you all again for joining me. Really appreciate it. Smash the like button, subscribe, tell somebody. What I'm going to do is I'm going to leave you with my feel good at the end. This is Cody the Sound Healer. Quality guy. And I'll see you on the next one. Thank you. Bye bye.